All right, so let's go through let's run down a couple games, the rest of the games real quick. Throw in anything you want. We'll just pretty much talk about picks unless there's something that jumps out at you. I know that there's probably not a whole lot going to jump out. Bears and Falcons.
Bears and Falcons, I think, is actually going to be a pretty interesting game. I'd be interested in watching that one with the way Justin Fields has been playing, and the way the Falcons run the ball. It's probably going to be one of the quicker games of the season because both these teams run the ball so much. But at the end of the day, it just feels like the Falcons are going to win. The Bears gave up some of their best players on defense and can't stop anybody anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I got nothing to add to that. I'm going to go with the Falcons. They're at home. The Bears are just unraveled. So Jets at Patriots.
Turns out this is probably going to be a pretty good game.
Yeah.
Especially because, if you remember in the preseason, I had the Patriots, I think, finishing third in the division because I only had the Jets having like 2 wins. So I had both these teams being trash. But coming in, I think the Jets are going to beat the shit out of the Patriots, and I'm going to love every second of
it. Well, I think you got a little bit of biasness. I think the Jets are better than the Patriots, but they are playing in New England, and Belichick knows that. They're very much in this race. All 4 of these teams, any of these 4 teams, AFC East can win this division. So this is a division battle. I mean, it's a division championship type mindset. And when it comes to championships, it's hard to argue against Bill Belichick. Of course, I've said that before the last couple of years, and he's made me a liar a couple of times. This should be a really, really, really good game. But all in all, I'm going to pick the Jets. All right, Commanders at Texans.
This one feels pretty easy. I'm going to take the team that just beat the undefeated team.
Yeah, I'm glad to see Ron Rivera, that the Commanders starting to come alive. We've talked about this for a couple of years on this show. We've waited for this Ron Rivera team to start to emerge. I don't know if it's happening or if that was just because it's an interdivision game and all bets go out the window. But Taylor Heineke, he looks like he's come to stay. So he wants his job. Poor Wentz, man. You come in, you get a job, you get hurt, somebody else takes it, go somewhere else, get hurt.
Yeah, well, up until they beat the Eagles, the whole plan was for Carson Wentz to get healthy, come off IR this week, and to regain his starting job. And Ron Rivera quote came out today, like he's not sure who he's going to go with that quarterback now. So Taylor Heineke has at least played himself into that conversation over a $30 million quarterback.
Yeah, well, you know what? Ron Rivera is in charge of the team. He's got more NFL experience than I do. He can do what he wants. I mean, I've got a lot of coaching experience, but it's obviously not at the NFL level. But he's a fucking fool if he changes it now. Write it out.
Everything Heineke's done there in the past, combined with just beating a division rival who was the only undefeated team left in the league, like, you have to stay with him. How are the players going to react if you bench him after winning 3 of the last 4 games for him?
Yeah, well, and you're not doing Wentz any favors either, because if he changes them out and he puts Wentz in, and then they take a nosedive, Wentz loses. He's done. They won't have any confidence in him. But if you let Heineke go and they take a nosedive and you put Wentz back in, they'll have faith in Wentz because they won't blame him for it. So quarterback controversies are dangerous, man. They're really dangerous. At this point, I would sit Wentz down and say, dude, I love you. I wish I could start you, but you have to agree with me. I'd be a fool not to keep going and doing what we're doing. And I think for me, the conversation would be over. But
yeah, exactly.
There's salaries and checks and endorsements and all kinds of weird shit that goes into that conversation that we're not including. So,
yeah, well, and I'm sure the amount of time Carson plays, like if Heineke keeps the job for the year, the conditional pick for the Colts, which I believe was supposed to turn into a second rounder if he plays X amount of snaps, is probably going to be his 3rd or 4th if Heineke keeps the job.
Oh, wow. I had forgotten about that. Yeah, it's a good point. But we'll see. Stranger things have happened.
Yeah, I know that's right.
As we saw with Tua and the Fitzpatrick. We didn't agree with that either. But is that beating a dead horse? It is. I'll move on. The ship sailed. speaking of which, I just need to throw this in here in this, right, because we're not going to talk about the Dolphins. I'm always the first to admit when I'm wrong, and Tua right now is making me look stupid. He is flat out balling out. I love to see it. The Vikings are firing on all cylinders. McDaniels obviously was the key. I don't, maybe McDaniels understands what Tua needs. Maybe I don't know, but he's making it happen. He threw 2 passes at the end on that drive at the end of the first half last week that were just Hall of Fame throws, man. He just put it in places it shouldn't have gone. Couldn't have thrown either ball any better. Very impressive what he's doing. I didn't think he was the answer. And I'm not committed that he is the answer, because I've seen quarterbacks have, amazing games and then end up being nothing. But right now I'm impressed with the way Tua is playing.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm somebody that is constantly talking about Ohio State and Alabama quarterbacks and how the success doesn't translate to the NFL. And Tua right now is the one setting that apart, and with what he's doing. And obviously that you pair that with McDaniel coming in to lead the team, and the offense that he's running, they've brought in pieces around him. Like everybody always talks about, Peyton had Marvin and Reggie. A lot of people are going to say, oh, well, he has Tyreek and Jalen Waddle, and obviously Raheem Mostert, and now Jeff Wilson Jr. in the backfield. So, everybody's going to talk about the weapons around him, but you're right. The throws that he's making, if you look at how he's doing, the throws that he's making and the windows he's putting the ball into, he's done a great job. Like you said, definitely proved me wrong as well. And this team looks fantastic with him at the helm.
They do. And they're contenders. Everybody needs to be on notice. The Dolphins are for real. Or at least right now they appear real there. If they keep playing just like the Vikings. I mean, we'll kind of wait and see what happens. But we've been talking about this Dolphins team for several years, and it seems that Mike McDaniels was he was what they needed to come in and tweak everything and get it moving. So we're definitely keeping an eye on them. All right, the shits at the shits. I mean, the Rams at the Saints.
I don't even know. Like, I feel like I just need to take the Saints because Cooper Kupp is out, and Cooper Kupp is like 85% of the Rams offense. So
right.
Go ahead and give me the Saints in this one.
Are you sure? No. It's that bad. This game is that really bad.
Yeah.
Either team could win this game. Either team could lose this game. I don't have any idea.
What? For the first time in the Horseman history, I'm calling for a game to be a tie. This game is going to end in a 9-9 tie.
All right, 9-9. You heard it. Even just how'd you come up with that guess?
I ain't guess. That's what it's going to be.
Right. Vicky Valancourt, ladies and gentlemen. It wouldn't be surprised if it ended up in a tie. Just the most boring game. I wouldn't even go if I had tickets. That's going to be terrible. Next game up is Panthers at the Ravens.
I wish I could take the Panthers, but the Ravens are a really good football team. So go ahead and give me the Ravens.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Ravens on that one too. The Ravens, I was checking to make sure I couldn't remember if they were solely in first place at the top of the North or if they were tied with the Bengals, but they're a game ahead. The Ravens are just too good. Raiders at the Broncos, another shit show.
Truly, like, what are some of these games this week are going to be terrible to watch. I just think, oh man, I really don't know. Go ahead and give me the Broncos. The win in London galvanizes this team and propels them above another trash team.
Yeah. Well, you've got one team, the Broncos, that can't find their identity. They just can't find it. They don't even know who they are. They're just flopping around all over the damn place. And the Raiders are losing their shit, man. They're hemorrhaging bad. At this point, it's still too early to call. They could get this turned around, but at this point, I wouldn't be surprised if McDaniels is fired after 1 year at the way things are going. They better get it turned around. Dude, when you're arguably one of the best quarterbacks in the league is crying at a press conference, shit has come undone. Because we don't see what's going on in the locker room, we see a small fraction of it. where we're sitting. And if that's what we saw, I can't imagine what's going on in the locker room. The Raiders are in a lot of trouble. So for that reason, I'm going to take the Broncos, but it isn't for anything the Broncos bring to the table.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Bengals at Steelers. This could be a good game.
This could be with TJ Watt coming back. He changes that entire defense, and we saw it right away when he came back. So I think he's going to be able to affect Joe Burrow in this game, but I think Joe Mixon was finally unlocked. This offensive line that struggled early in the year has definitely galvanized and come together as a pass unit. Seems that in the running game, they got things figured out. I'd like to see him do it against the Steelers, but the Steelers aren't very good in run defense anyway. So I think we could see Joe Mixon have another huge game to limit the ability of what TJ Watt can affect in this game, and the Bengals win.
Okay. I'm not real sure. I think that, I mean, this is a division game. It's a big rivalry. All bets go out the window. The Steelers are at home, which I don't care how much they're struggling this year. It's still incredibly hard to win in Pittsburgh. And Mike Tomlin has never had a losing season, and he's on the brink of having one. I'd like to. I mean, the Steelers had a pretty good show last week. It was against the Saints, but I think I'm going to take the Steelers here. I think the Bengals are the better team, but all those things that I just mentioned, I'm going to go ahead and go with the Steelers.
Okay, I like that. A little controversy. I think this is the only pick this week that we've been different on.
Yeah, I think so. And I'm not real confident on that. I'm not a Steelers fan. I'm just not a Steelers fan, but I respect what the organization is, and I respect Mike Tomlin. And it's kind of like Belichick. I hate the Patriots and I hate Bill Belichick, but I have a lot of respect for what he's done there. And it's hard for me to bet against those guys. I mean, they're true professionals. And what I'm expecting is the Steelers to get their head out of their ass. Not that I expect them to be a contender, but I expect them to get their head out of their ass and head in the right direction any moment. They may not, but that's just the way I feel about it. So, all right, Lions at the Giants. What do you think?
So I think this one's going to be pretty easy for everybody, even though the Lions are 2-0 in their last two games. I guess there was a Peyton's Place that came out, and they did some ritual in Ford Field to get rid of the Bobby Lane curse. So we'll see if that has an effect here. The Giants are a very good football team. A lot of people slept on them. And I've had faith in Daniel Jones for a long time. I think he leads this team to another W.
Yeah, I think this is kind of a no-brainer. Yeah, I agree with you. I like Mad Dan, but I don't think his tenure in Detroit's going to last. I really don't see them being a contender under him. And the Giants, until they prove otherwise, they're at the top of the food chain here in the NFC. Until they prove otherwise, I'm going to believe that this should be an easy win for them. I'm taking the Giants. All right, last one is 49ers at the Cardinals.
Well, the Cardinals look better with Colt McCoy at quarterback, and assuming Kyler Murray comes back this week, that's bad news for a team going up against a defense that is very good and flies around. So go and give me the 49ers, who have like 18 people who can touch the ball and go 80 yards at any time.
Yeah, I agree with you. I saw today somebody said he was making an argument that Colt McCoy should be the starting quarterback. And the whole time I was like, is he not paying attention to how much they paid Kyler Murray? You better be freaking Jesus performing miracles, or they're putting Murray back in. I mean, it's just there's no two ways about it. This isn't like Heineke and Wentz. This is a completely different story. So when Murray's ready, he's coming back. Even if he runs him aground and sinks the ship, Murray's coming back. And I agree with you. I think the Cardinals are in a lot of trouble. I think it's coming apart on them. I don't think they're going to be able to hold together. So I'm taking the 49ers.